The semis are complete and the finals are upon us. First off, I'd like to congratulate both Harrison and Gabe on well-played seasons. You earned your spot in the playoffs. I know it didn't end how you wanted to, but I hope you still walk away with your head held high. Shout out to Garrett, by the way, who won his first game of the season in the toilet bowl, no less. Today we are going to recap the semifinals, the season as a whole, and then look forward to the most important game of the season. Hello everyone and welcome to the final Pokemon Center, actually. The show where we keep you up to date on everything going on in the GSPL. This week we have Harrison of the Miami Metagross. Hi, Harrison.
Hey, Bo.
Hey. And we also have Justice of the Sacramento Kingdras.
Hello.
Hey, Justice. And this week we are going to recap the semifinal games. We are going to just have a general, championship discussion. We're going to discuss keys to victory for both coaches, just kind of, what we think the, most important factor in their victory will be. And then also we are going to predict who we think the best performer will be in the championship game. And then we will let you guys go. Does that sound good to you guys?
Sounds great.
Okay. All right. Well, let's jump right in. Let's jump into the semifinal games. I guess I can pull up the schedule here really quick. We had, the first one would be Miami Metagross versus the Oklahoma City Thunderous. What did you guys think of that game?
I didn't like the outcome very much.
Hey, thinking that might be the case. Yeah. What do you think went wrong for you, if you don't mind me asking?
I think a couple of truly, I don't think anything went wrong. I think the game fell exactly how it was intended to.
Okay.
It came down to small, minute decisions that were made in planning that just didn't pan out. Not running Fire Blast on the Slowbro over Flamethrower. Sure. Not having a fully physically defensive Slowbro and having it split between physical and special defense. That could have played a factor into it near the end of the game.
What was the reason behind that, if you don't mind me asking?
I was looking through Austin's team. I was more concerned about handling a Porygon Z, a Starmie, and a Whimsicott than I was of handling a physical
Ninetales
and a physical Ninetales. I wasn't expecting the sun to come, so I did not. I wasn't planning on the two of them, and then I was especially surprised when it was a physically defensive Ninetales and a physically attacking Ninetales.
Yeah.
So having that caught me very off guard. So kudos to Austin for that, having a really creative set. That he brought. So I was much more concerned about his special attackers and his physical attackers, specifically the Porygon Z.
Sure. This thing is horrifying. It is funny. That's what's great about Draft League. They just mentioned in the Ninetales, you brought a physically defensive and physically offensive, Ninetales is just not something you would see in any format other than Draft.
Absolutely.
But looking at their stats, it's not. His special attack isn't much better than his physical attack. But yeah. All right. Yeah, that Ninetales ended. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, just happens to have a little bit of a better special move pool, I think.
Sure, I would believe that. I don't know its move pool off the top of my head. I don't know. Certain Pokemon just look like girls or boys to me, but. Anyways, yeah, you're right. It gets Hex is probably pretty good on it. Foul Play would be, it should probably run Foul Play. That's a pretty good move. Gets Calm Mind, gets Nasty Plot. Does get Zen Head, but yeah, no, it was that Ninetales ended up being a bit of a problem. Pain Split, Toxic Ninetales. Who knew? Yeah. Okay. I don't know what. Do you have anything to say on that game yourself, Justice?
Yeah, so I remember one time specifically, this was just a small thing that might have actually made a pretty big deal. Was when Harrison brought in the Arctozolt in against the Ninetales, he clicked Stomping Tantrum because, I assume because, it's super effective.
Yeah.
Maybe he thought it would do more damage. But I think because Bolt Beak's power gets doubled and it's accompanied by stab when it moves first, that it would have actually done more damage to Ninetales, and it definitely would have done more damage to the Sawsbuck, which was the only other Pokemon that was alive at the time. And the Sawsbuck had switched in to take that Stomping Tantrum.
Sure.
And, it only did like 8% or something like that. But I think the Bolt Beak would have basically done the same amount of damage as it would have if it weren't resisted, basically, to the Sawsbuck. So I think that probably went into a KO. I don't know. And then, eventually I'm sure that would have led to the Flamethrower actually taking out the rest of the HP on Sawsbuck. As long as there wasn't any Reach recovery that I'm forgetting about.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't. Good catch. I didn't think of that. But yeah, you're probably right because Bolt Beak. What's Bolt Beak's base power? Is it 90, 95?
I believe it's 95.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus stab. Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's basically It's basically super effective if it goes first.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, I mean, also, I think, wasn't there, another thing that I think mattered a little bit, didn't Noivern missed a hurricane, right, on Starmie? That probably would have killed it. Yeah.
I don't chalk that up to luck, though. I intentionally reduced my accuracy with Noivern when I switcherooed the Eviolite away from the Corsola, so I knew that's the trade I was taking.
Yeah, and it's just a very inaccurate move. You're going to miss 3 out of 10 times. Sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Let's jump over to the other game. The War Turtles versus the Kingdras. This one, I'll just say up front, was not nearly as close. I believe, it was a 1-0, right? Your game, Harrison? And he had 10% health left or something, right?
It was a very, very close game, and Justice's was actually quite the opposite.
Yeah. So why don't you talk about that a little bit, Justice?
So I felt good about the game. Obviously, I'm glad that it ended the way it did.
Sure.
The rough thing was, sorry, I'm trying to remember. The rough thing for Gabe was that he didn't bring the Haxorus, which I felt matched up really well against my team because even, I have Comfey, which is, I believe, I could be wrong because I can't remember my exact calculations or anything, but the Comfey would get 2-hit KO'd, I believe, by a poison jab. And the Durant is not terribly bulky in general, so I think if it were to run close combat or something, 2 close combats would definitely kill. But even catching me on the switch or something, and switching back out. I don't know. I just think Haxorus is a really strong bring against me, and I think it's a really strong bring in general. So I was definitely glad to not see it that time. And I don't know, I feel like that could have been really bad for me.
Yeah, I agree. The Haxorus, I think we talked about it in the Pokemon Center. I thought it was coming. It looked really good to me. Even just I think he learns Poison Jab, right? So yeah, just something like Outrage, Earthquake, Poison Jab would have, I think, hit almost everything on your team pretty well. At least for neutral damage. But yeah, no, it was... he went for a different strategy. He's really brought the Aurorus in times when I thought I wouldn't bring the Aurorus.
That was a big question that I had on my end as well, is what the plan was with the Aurorus, especially not having the Ice Cube with him either.
Yep.
It seemed like a very out of sorts bring. And I do understand that the freeze dry hits the Swampert for 4 times effective, and it can hit. Looking at your lineup that you brought, Justice, it hits 4 of the 6 for super effective damage.
It does.
Well, it's got the no, I'm sorry, 3 of the 6.
Yeah.
So with that, it matches up well, but still it's just an interesting bring to not fit with the Ice Cube strategy. And I do agree with I think the Hackstress in place of the Auroras would have been a much stronger team as a whole.
Yeah. I mean, I guess now that I think his plan was, I want to get up Veils, because I mean, he was clearly there trying to set, or like his game plan I think was win with the Metagross. He like had like I don't even know what he had like a ton of boosts there at the end, because he had like weakness policy and like cosmic power and agility and yeah, so I think that was kind of his game plan, and so I think his plan was get the Veil up, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's definitely part of it, part of his plan. But then another thing that I think he might have been thinking about was if I brought the Sand Slash to come and reset the weather, because we know from other weeks that swapping the weather has been a very deciding factor in a lot of these games. So I can imagine that he may have wanted to like shut that down, especially since that was like my most recent transaction, or actually my only transaction. And maybe he was expecting to see it that time.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. It was interesting. Yeah. The Mew, unfortunately, didn't do much for him either. Yeah. No, it was just, I don't know. There's not a lot to say. It was like a 5-0.
Yeah.
It was a...
It was pretty brutal.
Yeah, it was an ugly one.
Yeah. It was unfortunate. It wasn't Gabe's best showing. But
no,
I think it was the ultimate showdown of experience versus like being a hot shot rookie. And
and he got
experience won out this time.
And he got 11-0'd in the final 2 weeks. But yeah. Well, he'll come back. I've already talked to him. He wants to come back for other seasons, so I think he will battle back, and maybe he'll get you next time, Justice.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, seeing Justice maneuver around and predicting the weakness policy on the Metagross and pivoting around that with the Tangrowth, that set of plays was crucial to avoid that sweep.
Yes.
With the Metagross just tearing through everything.
Yeah, I'm very clever to wait. I noticed you were very patient with the knockoff. You waited to do the knockoff until you were pretty sure it would kill. I thought that was actually very smart. You just kind of sat on your leech seeds and stuff and Giga Drains to keep yourself healthy, knowing that it wouldn't have been able to kill you, and then got it with a knockoff at the end. It was a very good series of plays.
Yeah, I definitely, from the way he brought it out and clicking, when you see Cosmic Power on Metagross, at least for me, I think weakness policy. So I'm like, I'm just not gonna risk it, because it's not like thing that hits Metagross terribly hard with +1 defense anyway.
Right.
And so yeah, just wanted to kind of play the long game there.
Yeah, and it worked. And I mean, too, like, it's not even like a Mew where he could just click recover or roost or whatever. I wonder if it would have worked out differently for him if he had it on the Mew. Did you have Toxic on anything?
Yeah, I had Toxic on my Crobat. Okay. And thankfully, those 100% accurate Toxics. And that was their Vaporeon, mostly.
Pretty smart to bring it on the Crobat for the 100%, but also just because it's actually faster than the Mew. Because a lot of times they can run a set like with Taunt. So I've seen max HP, max speed, and then you run Taunt on it, so you can taunt anything slower than you, so they can't Toxic you. But yeah. Yeah, but yeah, it worked out. You crushed him. I don't know what else to say. Okay.
Sorry, bud.
Yeah, I mean, don't be sorry. It's a competition. That's what you're supposed to do.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, I guess moving on to just championship discussion. I guess this is just kind of general discussion about the finals here. I don't know, before we move on to specifics about keys to victory and stuff, does anyone have anything to say about the championship? Anything?
I think that Austin has a very, very well-rounded team. I don't know if I said it recently or maybe if I just was talking to Bo about it. But I noticed that when I was going through and trying to find common weaknesses and everything, that he had a lot less common weaknesses and a lot more common resistances than he did the first time we played. I just think the transactions that he made, grabbing the Corviknight, Corsola, Slow King, and the Salt, just made his team a lot tighter. And so I definitely think it's going to be harder for any one of my Pokemon to break through it.
Yeah. Corsola in particular, I think, was probably his most impactful transaction.
It was the most impactful member of his team for the season.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, if it had been on his team at the start, it could have been like his MVP and maybe even in the running for MVP. I do think it's interesting that both players started the league 0-1. Just kind of funny little fun fact, I guess. Both players started 0-1, and they're here in the finals.
And we both lost to people who didn't make it to playoffs.
Correct. Yes, actually, yeah, you're right. That's funny. Yeah, and then just, I don't know, your journey to get here, like you both played the same people twice in a row the last week of the season, and I don't know, it was just kind of a funny. Anyway, yeah, I don't know, just kind of a funny way it worked out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, yeah, I think that's just kind of general discussion. It's kind of hard to talk too much about the championship without talking about things we think will be the keys to victory. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about keys to victory for both coaches. Justice, I guess I can understand if you don't feel like disclosing some piece of your strategy in this. But what do you think, Harrison?
Yeah, so I think for Justice, the big key will be figuring out how to handle the two walls that Austin brings with Corviknight and Corsola. I do think Justice has a real good matchup against the Corsola with both of his tier 1s having that super effective damage. Mm-hmm. And I think Sableye also handles the Corsola quite well in terms of a defensive wall to sort of counter a wall to counter the wall, so to speak. But for Corviknight's a real tough matchup against Justice's team with only the Arcanine being able to hit it with the stab fire attack.
Lantern can too, but he doesn't hurt particularly.
Yeah, and that's the thing is Lantern really shines more as a defensive pivot.
Yeah, no,
with slow volt switches, it can spread paralysis with discharge, but it just doesn't pack as much of a punch as the Arcanine does. Mm-hmm. And with the Corviknight most likely running a physical bulk, even a Flare Blitz isn't going to do all that much. Let me see here. So with an Arcanine, if it's maxed out attack, jolly, a Flare Blitz is going to be only doing 60 to 72%.
Okay.
Now that's still a good bit, but it's hard to stack that up against a Corviknight, especially if it's possibly running like a Rocky Helmet.
What's the item on that, if you don't mind me asking?
Heavy duty boots.
Oh, so Banded might actually kill.
So a Choice Band is going to be doing Choice Band, max attack, Choice Band, Adamant, Flare Blitz, to a max HP, max defense, Impish, Corviknight is a guaranteed OHKO.
Really? Oh, wait. Is that Jolly or is that Adamant?
Adamant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Adamant. Yeah. Barely guaranteed OHKO, but yeah, it is.
Barely.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait.
Oh, go ahead.
Just you wait. I'll bring that Specs Lantern.
There you go.
You guys are going to be...
And that's what's fantastic about Draft League.
That is what's... And let's... I want to know. I want to know now. Choice Specs. I can't believe I'm calculating.
Thunderbolt.
Yeah, dude, 252. Oh, no, we're doing Thunder. No, I'm just kidding. We'll do that.
Oh, boy.
We'll do Modest.
Don't do it.
Let's go.
Learn from my mistakes. Don't do it.
Yeah, well, to be fair, you don't have a choice. Like, for some reason, Game Freak doesn't like to give good special flying moves. But, anyways, let me look at
Bear Slash.
Yeah. Wow.
Even Flash isn't 100% accurate.
It darn near does kill. Specs modest.
But that's if there's no special defense investment in the Corviknight.
It's physically defensive. So watch out, Austin. Watch out. Not saying I'm not going to bring it, but not saying you can.
Does Dragapult learns Thunderbolt, right?
Yes, it does.
I think it does, yeah.
Thunderbolt and Thunder.
It might even learn like Fire Blast. Yeah, it does a good amount. It does enough. But yeah, I guess I'll pitch in here too. I agree. I mean, I think that Corviknight's really his only effective wall. I guess maybe you could convince me that like the Donphan is something of like a. I mean, he doesn't really last. He doesn't have reliable recovery, but he can also play the role of some kind of defensive threat. But it's just unfortunate for Austin that both his, I would just say his Corsola and his Slowking, two of his more recent transactions, kind of line up really poorly against the, defensively, I guess I should say, against the Tyranitar and the Dragapult. I mean, admittedly, the Tyranitar doesn't love switching into Slowking, like on a Scald. I mean, if he gets the Scald burn, the Slowking might just be able to sit on him. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So I think the key for Austin is... Gosh, I guess I would try to bring a much more offensive team. I might not even bring the Corsola and the Slowking. I would probably... I mean, he has... I think I think has a faster team overall. I mean, you have the Dragapult, of course, but I mean, I guess he has he has, I don't know, Starmie's pretty fast. He could bring the Sun and that thing will run fast. I don't know. He could try to U-turn, Volt Switch around, stay ahead of you, keep momentum. In terms of your walls, I guess you have the Tangrowth. He has things for the Tangrowth, I guess, I mean, if he brings the Sun and brings the Ninetales, but yeah, I don't know. My keys would probably be to play more offense than defense if I was Austin, just because I don't think my walls line up.
Yeah, I think one of Austin's big keys is not letting Justice set up with either the Tyranitar or the Durant.
Sure.
Getting the T-Tar, getting one or even two Dragon Dances, you're going to be hard-pressed to fully stop him. The Corviknight's probably still your best bet to wall the Tyranitar at that point, but it's still going to be doing significant damage. And then for the Durant running a couple of Home Claws plus Hustle, most likely a Life Orb, or maybe even an Expert Belt, something to boost its attack. Avoiding those setups is something that's going to be really key for Austin, and to figure out a way, if the setup does happen, how can he get in there and prevent it from completely running amok.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe that is the key for Justice, because I mean, both of these mons line up pretty well. Not a lot really walls the Dragapult. I think the Dragapult could have a big game. I could see just trying to make my goal, let's get rid of this Whimsicott and the Corviknight, and then try to set up with my Dragapult, because I mean, Dragon Darts is very hard hitting, and at +1, I'm pretty darn sure you outspeed the Regieleki even, who doesn't particularly threaten a Dragapult anyways. Dragapult doesn't learn any recovery, does he? He doesn't get like Roost or something?
Not as far as I'm aware.
Okay. Yeah, if he did, I'm guessing it would be Roost. I mean, he doesn't look like he would learn recover, but yeah, I don't know. That might be my plan. That might be my key to victory for you. But again, it's hard because I don't even know what you plan on. Like, I don't even know if you're bringing a physical Dragapult or Dragapult at all, I guess.
I mean, I have said that I wanted to bring physical Dragapult this week, or not this week.
In the past, yeah, sometime during the season. You haven't, right? You've never brought one?
I brought it with, it wasn't exactly.
Oh, it was like screens. Yeah.
Screens Dragapult, but it happened to have a physical move saying, I think it was just like Dragon Darts and U-turn. And actually, I think that was against Austin.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. But, who knows? Maybe I will get to, maybe I won't.
Yeah.
Or maybe I just won't bring Dragapult.
Fair. I mean, looking at the teams, like nothing really, gosh. I don't know.
That's what's fantastic about this, is that there's real no clear cut one team has the advantage in this final. Both teams stack up decently well, and looking at the both of them, they both can counter each other kind of well. But in the end, nothing really screams matchup nightmare.
Yeah, I'm just looking at like even the Porygon. I mean, if it can somehow get up an agility and a nasty plot, and it has like Shadow Ball and the normal move and Tri Attack, it can do pretty well. Other than it has a hard time with Sableye still, but yeah, I mean that could just outright sweep also. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Defensively, I don't really know if either team has like a great matchup, which I think makes it a little more fun, just because I don't know. It's more fun to watch, I think, high-paced, fast games than 150 turn stall wars. But
I would agree.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Best performer. Who do you guys think will be the... Let's start... I guess we can do it by team. Let's start with, I guess, the Thunderous. They're the first on my little screen here. Who do you guys think will be the best performer for the Thunderous?
I'll let Harrison go first.
Okay.
In my opinion, I think the Porygon Z is probably going to be the best performer. It's going to be its main offensive presence.
Sure.
With fantastic coverage moves. I'm thinking the Porygon Z will definitely will need to be the star for the Thunderous on the offensive front to take care of Justice. I don't think the two defensive walls on Corviknight and Corsola do enough to merit wins on their own, but I think if the Porygon Z is able to get a couple of setup moves going with the amount of coverage it's able to get, I think the Porygon will definitely be a major player in Austin's game plan.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I guess I'll go next. I was thinking about him. I will pick the Whimsicott, and that's just because in some of Austin's most important games, it's been very important. It was very important in week 7, and it was very important in week 2. Even though it literally only clicked one move and died in week 2, it probably did save the game for him. Yeah, I mean, it has a pretty good Tyranitar matchup, actually. It does get to resist one of his stabs, at least. And, I mean, it is another thing, too, that the Dragapult doesn't love to see. And I don't know, I could see it pulling off like a clutch Stun Spore on one of the speedy threats that Justice has. Like if it could like Stun Spore on a switch or something. Well, I highly doubt Dragapult switches into it, but I don't know. That priority move and then slowing it down and letting something like the Porygon outspeed it and get it with a Shadow Ball, or shoot, even the Starmie can probably hit it hard with something. That thing has every move under the sun. Or yeah, so because I mean at that point, that's another. Well, never mind. I'll save Mons for you, Justice, if you have any. Again, if you don't really want to say anything because you're playing the game, that's fine. But I'll throw it to you.
Yeah, so I think I'll talk a little bit about his team. I would probably rather not say anything about my team. But I definitely think the two that you guys mentioned are, definitely ones I'm preparing for. I'm preparing for obviously everything on this team because I think, every Pokemon that he's got, whether it's, Corviknight or Sawsbuck is, something worth preparing for. I think another Pokemon that hasn't really been too instrumental recently is Slowking, which is special Slowbro. I don't like it, but that's just me. I think the fact that Teleport got buffed this generation is so huge because it means for Pokemon like Slowbro and Slowking that Teleport becomes a 33%, or I think 30%, never mind, a 30% regen move with negative priority that also gives you initiative. Yeah. And so I just think Teleport with Regenerator is a broken combo. And I can definitely see Slowking.
Yeah.
In a bit of trouble.
My issue with Slowking is I just don't think it has that many opportunities. Like, it doesn't really want to come in on a Tyranitar or a Tangrowth or really a Lantern, even a Durant, like with a first impression or something. It doesn't do well against Stable. It doesn't do well against a Dragon. I don't know. I admittedly, a lot of those things don't like to come into a Scald. Like the Durant definitely doesn't want to get Scald. Even like if it's, I guess it depends if it's Water Absorb or Electric Absorb, or Volt Absorb. Right. But even it doesn't want to come into a Scald just because it doesn't get the recovery, so it kind of just slowly chip it down. But I don't know. Another one I do like though is Starmie. It's pretty fast. It outspeeds most of your team actually. Yes, it gets flip turn, and it has great coverage moves. Like I think it could choose to hit. I'm sure there's a way it could configure its moveset to hit most of your mons for super effective damage.
It gets Ghost, Psychic, Electric, Water,
Ice.
Ice. It gets it has a very varied move pool. It actually might even get Wrath coverage.
It might get Energy Ball or something. Yeah, I don't know. It has a very good move pool, and it hasn't done a ton. It gets Fairy, I guess.
It gets Grass Knot at least.
Yeah. Power Gym. I think it even gets Meteor Beam. I think he tried to run that once.
Also can run Supportive and run Rapid Spin to get those speed boosts if you need to get the +1 or +2 through it.
True, yeah. A little tricky to run or to feel safe running Rapid Spin against 2 Ghost types. Well, it depends on what you bring, but you do have 2 Ghost types at least, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, I guess Steel, which sure, but yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it hasn't had a big game, and it could, especially because it actually just by nature of its speed and coverage forces a lot of switches, and it gets that analytic boost, and yeah, that's another one I could see having a very big game. Okay, what about the Kingdras? What do you guys think will be a big performer for the Kingdras?
Yeah. So, Justice, don't feel like you need to talk.
Sure.
I think, for me, I really think the Sableye is extremely important. Being able to prankster status things into cripple speedy Pokemon on Austin's team, regardless of being outsped by anything, I think is an extremely valuable asset. You can couple that with Hex from a Dragapult if you want to, if that's a moveset you wanted to run. So I think the Sableye will be huge. It's going to be able to break. It would be able to break through the Slowking, which is huge, and it's also able to really handle the core so well. Two of Austin's biggest walls.
Sure.
And it can also hit the Corviknight for either if you wanted to hit it with a burn or if you wanted to hit it with paralysis. Sableye has the opportunities to do both and not get outsped because of Prankster. So I'm thinking the Sableye is set up for a really important, crucial game. I don't think it'll see a lot of action because that's really not its job, but I think the couple of turns that it is in will be extremely crucial for setting Justice up in the late game.
Yeah. Yeah, I like having a mon, just having a Prankster mon like that is always I don't know, it just feels really good because you're never too afraid of something setting up because you can always switch in and then Thunder Wave it or whatever, so something else can outspeed it and kill it, or burning it if it's an offensive threat, so yeah, I get that. I guess I'll pick the Dragapult. I just don't think Austin has any switch-ins to it. Even I mentioned a physical Dragon Dance set, but even Specs Draco, there's 2 mons that can take that on Austin's team basically, and be okay with it. And if they're gone, then I think every time Dragapult switches in, it just gets a kill. Yeah, so I'll pick that. I think either way, either special or physical, even maybe something weird it's not that weird. I actually see it relatively often, but like a Hex set with Will-O-Wisp and Hex could do a lot of work here. Though admittedly, Austin does have 2 normal types, but It's really too bad, by the way, that he doesn't get Poltergeist. He'd be better.
Yeah. The symbol for Phantom Force.
Yeah. He doesn't even get like a Shadow Sneak, man. Like, come on. Which
he looks like he would sneak in the shadows.
Yeah. He gets Sucker Punch, which I think is weird because he doesn't get Shadow Sneak, but yeah. Yeah. But yeah, also something to note, and I don't think this matters too much for Sableye, but Austin only has one Dark Resist, which I could see mattering. But again, Sableye's not really an offensive threat, but just being able to like spam knockoff and not worry too much about like him switching into that fighting type or something, or just, something like that. But yeah, I'll say Dragapult.
I think Dragapult's a fantastic bring. And stacks up really, really well against Austin's team in terms of offensive pressure.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, that's actually everything we have. We have, best Pro Championship game. Do either of you want to say anything before we sign off?
I'll say good luck to Austin again. I know I wish him good luck
every time.
Every time, but I look forward to seeing a good game, and I just watched his player profile today, so I definitely agree with everything he said towards the end. Just hoping that it's a good match and it comes down to skill
and not luck. I think I don't think you'll find very many people that disagree with that sentiment.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What about you, Harrison? You got anything?
I would definitely say if anyone's watching this and hasn't watched the player profiles, definitely go and check them out. You get some really great insight on two really experienced coaches. And I think these are two fantastic people to represent the GSPL in its first ever championship game. And I'm really excited to see what it comes down to. And to echo Justice, I really do hope that this game comes down to just some great plays and some great skill, and that we don't get too many hacks or too much crits or luck or anything involved in it. And that does come down to just the two experienced coaches really just giving it their all. And no matter who wins with this, I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic game, and both coaches are equally deserving of winning that championship game.
Well said. I don't think I could have said it any better ourselves. I just hope the cap to our season is a worthy cap. Like it is it's a good game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely, and this won't be the end of it. We're going to be having some more videos come out even as the season ends throughout the off season. We'll have a couple of things here and there, so I don't feel like this is going to go away just because the season's over. Yeah, we're going to try to intersperse some. We have some fun ideas, I think, for some off season content, and then we're going to try to be back again with season 2 soon. But okay. Yeah. Thank you guys for being on. I know it's late, so appreciate that.
Okay.
Yeah, and thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next time.